How are we all? And welcome back. It's been a while, hasn't it? And yeah, let's just say it's been a good season. We still haven't done our end of season review. I mean, yeah, we're a bit backwards, but then yet again, ask any member of my family. I've always been that way. That said, thank you very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it, and there is lots to get through as well. I know a lot of people will be coming in with comments left, right, and centre regarding recent branding changes, the loyalty point system, which is a massive talking point, and also the front of shirt sponsor, which has caused quite a bit of controversy after last season's success with classic football shirts. Nothing against the shirt sponsor at all, but obviously it has been a controversial talking point. We'll also touch on transfers towards the end as well, with two potential incomings being announced in, well, the short, not so distant future, shall we say. I mean, big man Fabs has been all over it, as has Sasha and all the other tier ones. They are all going for like the clappers with Burnley news. And then I don't know why irrelevant Spurs fans turning up saying about why you commenting on small clubs. I mean, a club that hasn't even seen a trophy. I mean, they had to watch Burnley lift one before they did. So, hey ho. Now let's start the beef with Tottenham fans early this season. Let's get it out there. Looking forward to everyone getting involved in the chat. As I say, we are going to go through the talking points. Put in your views on all matters as we go through, and we will have a look through them. I'll be joined by Nath from Burnley Monday Al podcast as well, and we'll be talking about all the situations that have been going on within the board meeting. The one thing that I want to basically put to rest is this morning, woke up to 4 or 5 messages just of abuse that were unnecessary just for being on a fan advisory board, and I think that is bang out of order. Some of it was basically saying that, you know, I'm doing this on a webcam. That's the only reason why I got on there. That, you know, I don't attend games because I'm always doing watch-alongs, so the rules won't apply to you regarding loyalty points. And I can take all that crap because it's just nonsense. People's circumstances are different. You know, I had kids. I had a child at a young age, and ever since then, it's been difficult because your money is tied up, and then you've got work and other commitments and situations like that. And I don't really feel like I should be sat here having to explain that to these mindless gimps. So I just wanted to explain that stuff like that I can take on the chin. When it gets personal, and as people will know, less than 4 months ago, my dad passed away. And when you're having comments saying your dad didn't die for this, did your dad even know that you was on the supporters board? I bet your family are so proud of you and the shitty decisions you're making and all this stuff. We just put our points across in these board meetings. I just want to say that we put our points across, whether they are, you know, in an agreed fashion or whether we are against it. You know, for and against is back and forth. It's healthy debates. That's what Alan Pace wants. That's what Russell Ball wants. That's what Jack Ormshaw wants. Everybody within the club wants this mantra of moving forward. That's what we have to think of as a club. And we are trying to represent you. We're not representing ourselves. We're representing our whole fan base. And things have needed to move forward quite a lot. As we've seen with the recent success of the club shop, adding different payment options, it's been upgraded. That's been a massive success. Obviously, there's talks at the moment of the website having a bit of an update and a bit of a spruce up. So that's also something in the pipeline. But one thing that I want to look into is the fact that we do not get the final say. We aren't yes, no, okay, they chose it. You know, we're not ones that the club will put blame on. I think the work that Russell Ball and Jack and all the other members at Burnley Football Club who have tried to put this boardroom together. By the way, it was an interview process, and I think everybody who applied will have been interviewed. And obviously, similar as you do to getting a job, you know, if you're successful, you're in. If you're not, you're not. And it's just so happens I was successful in my thinking. And I won't lie, I told them that Burnley Football Club over the years has been seen as a bit of an old man's club, that we always look like a club that's sort of behind the times. When football is moving forward, we've sort of stagnated at a point. We was behind on the, you know, disability side of things, where, you know, people were still having to go to a Portaloo for the toilets, and we've massively upgraded that over the years. But these are things that, you know, I've said. I know I'm nearly 32, but I still want to give it that not juvenile but youthful look and progress, like the club are saying, move forward and moving forward at an alarming rate, because we are, you know, as long as the money is being used well on the pitch, and we're getting results, then clearly, you know, the money on the pitch doesn't matter, because the money that's then generated in the bank, you know, pays for itself, sort of thing. But that's business. I think we all know that. We do all know that. That as well is one of them things. Like I say, the board, Alan Pace himself, the chairman, reiterated that he doesn't want us to just go in there and be like, "Oh yeah, brilliant, thank you. Yeah, that sounds like something that we need to do. This is you know, this is your vision. Yeah, we'll go along those lines." No, we're not bending over backwards and saying that what you're saying is spot on. I'm not being funny, but when we get to it, the shirt sponsor, when we was told about the shirt sponsor, I'm surprised the whole town of Burnley did not hear the shriek come from the Bob Lord suite that we was in. It was, you know, there was quite a loud gasp, and everybody did it in unison. But like I say, the meeting was only meant to last, what, 2 hours? And it ended up going an hour over the time it was meant to end, because people were asking questions, debating it. And that's what it's there for. It's there for us to get these answers, put these answers to the club, and, you know, play a little bit of a, you know, unqualified journalistic role, and try and get the answers that we want to get to where we want as a fan experience. Anyway, that said, thank you very much for coming to Turf Moor House TV. I got that out of the way. I could have gone on there. But yes, please do show your support. I can see the comments and we'll have a look through them very, very shortly. But please do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit that little naughty bell if you want to know when we next go live. We are on social media, as you can see at the bottom of your screen: Facebook, Insta, Twitter, YouTube. We are on Twitch as well, but we're not currently live on that. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at the moment. But here's just a few places you can find us on social media. And as soon as you're back, you'll see the beautiful face of the man behind Burnley Monday Out podcast. So yeah, here's where you can find us. And here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How are you doing, Nath? You all right?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Couldn't look at my phone and I felt like a naughty school kid. Panicking, not looking at it. No, I'm good, mate. Are you all right? Yeah, all good.
Yeah. Apart from this morning, all's good.
Yeah. No, I just want to jump in and reiterate what you said earlier, that the Burnley community, that's not what we're about. You know what I mean? We've got loads of channels on there now, and then there's loads of really good people that get into that and comment and stuff. And that's not what we're about at the football club. You know, we don't do stuff like that. You know, the level of stuff you got is not acceptable to even give it bastards down the road. Like, that's not cool. We don't do that. We're not them type of people. You know, you expect to get it from opposition fans, not your own fans. So you have my full support, and I'll also call anything out that I see and whatever. So yeah, it's not cool, man. Not cool.
No, appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact that, you know, you've got a day off, which means the missus probably would have said, then jobs that you've needed to do for 6 months, can you start on them, please?
Yeah.
But no, thanks for giving up your time. I mean, any excuse, I'd have found the same thing as well.
Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, I mean, you know, just a brief overview. Obviously, being a member of the Fan Advisory Board, I want you to just say it as it is. Obviously, you know, we're both just fans of the football club at the end of the day. Being on a board doesn't give you any sort of power. But what did you think of the idea of a fan board? Because obviously it hasn't been announced officially by the football club yet, because I think it's one of those things that, as I said to you off camera, that, you know, it's a requirement by the Premier League now. And it's something that should be announced in due course. But what was your thoughts when they said that they was even going to put together a fan advisory board?
I mean, I was excited by it at first, and then I actually started applying for it. Went through the application process, and then I got halfway through, and it's quite an in-depth procedure. But then I thought, is this just another smokescreen from the club? Is this just another box-ticking exercise from them? So I actually just sacked it off at one point and just left it at that. And then it sort of came back to my forefront when it was announced that all the applications and were going through interview bit, and I was like, oh, all right, fair enough, whatever. So initially, I thought it was a good idea, but then I thought it was just a bit of a PR play from the club. You know, we'll get a select group of fans that we can sort of distribute news to that we want to send out and stuff. But now I've actually seen, well, I've not seen, I've not been a part of it, but now I've seen the outcomes and the output from the members. You actually see, you know, it feels like a really positive thing for the club, and having a core group of fans that, you know, split across a wide demographic from, you know, under 18s to, you know, high 70s. It's you know, it's good to have that spread, because you can really you can get a good opinion, gauge a good opinion across multiple, you know, age groups and backgrounds and stuff in one go. So I think it's positive. It's good. It's a good sounding board. Like I say, you're pretty, you know, you specifically pretty interactive on Twitter and on social and with other fans. So you're a good sounding board to take feedback back to the board, and I know a few others like George, and then there's a lady called Emma that I've seen on Twitter quite constant, you know. Yeah, oh, she's in chat now. She's really good on, you know, she's really positive online and stuff. So all this stuff, it's like a funnel. It gets all the fans' frustrations, good and bad, funneling into the club, and they can actually hear a direct sounding board from you guys. So it's only going to benefit us if what's being said by you guys is actually implemented, and it's just not, like I said, a smokescreen that I thought it was going to be. So yeah, all good. Can't wait for it to be properly announced and you guys can get started. And yeah,
no, I mean, it's one of them things that it was tried to be done before, when we had Neil Hart as the CEO. Mark Baldwin was at the club as well, and there was no real structure to it then.
Yeah.
It almost felt just like everyone went in there with a million questions, and sort of the arse fell out a little bit. And obviously that, you know, you are going to get moments like that where they thought they can maybe potentially bit off more than they can chew. But I think the structure of how it's been done this time round, you have got the chairman actually sat in these meetings with you, listening to the feedback. It's not just going from one person saying, oh, we'll pass that information on, and you think, yeah, that's just going to fall on deaf ears. You know, it's actually going to, you know, the head of operations. That's it. He's heard it for himself, and I think that's another thing. That is another thing. So, I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of controversial factors at the moment, which we will get into.
Well, it's you're not going to fix everything, and you are going to probably suggest a lot of stuff that is just going to get ignored. It's the matter of fact, because what fans want and what essentially business owners and business managers want are very different things. You know, like if it were up to Burnley fans, it'd be free shirts for everybody, free pies for everybody.
Oh yeah,
you know, every man and the dog gets a free ticket, and we put 3 tiers up Bob Lord. You know what I mean? We don't, you know, we'd have we'd have everything we wanted. So the rest, there is a good balance, and I, for the first time in a while, it's nice to actually see that, like I said before, the club are listening, which is something that they never have done. You know, the club very rarely have listened, and if they have listened, it's only been to a select elite few. You know what I mean? The bit of the old, you know, not to name any names, I can't really think on top of my head, but like the older guard, you know, the old supporters clubs.
Yeah,
and all,
I mean, do you think as well that as much as we've actually been promoting that we are a very family run club, you know, I think it was Sean Dash who said it, that if somebody kicks somebody in Burnley, the whole town limps. Do you feel like now with, you know, Alan Pace and all the, you know, the new sort of board that's together, that there's more of a family unit now than there was even prior? And I will take that, Emma, by the way. I will take that.
I don't know. I think I'm quite, and I've got quite like a level-headed approach to everything. I understand the difference between, like I said before, fan and business wants and needs. I think now more than ever, the club, on an operational point of view, is the least family-run side of it all that it ever has been, which is a positive in my eyes. You know, it becomes a bit more ruthless and becomes a bit more business-orientated, and decisions are made to maximise profitability and sustainability for the club. It's not just about keeping cash in the mattress for a rainy day. You know, like my granddad would do. He wouldn't spend his money there and everywhere or invest it everywhere. He just stuffs it away and looks after it. So, but again, the fact that there's people online watching what fans are talking about. There's high likelihood someone from the club probably watching this now, because they're so well integrated with. The staff seems to be well integrated with what the fans are talking about online, because it's obviously all online now, majority of it. So I think that side of it all is they understand the importance of the fans and the family side of it all and the community asset of it all. And they are now implementing that into a pretty strict business model, which I think it's only a positive. Like I say, you can't be a family run business owned by butchers down road in 2023 in the Premier League. It don't work. You know, it don't work. So yeah, I think it's a good balance. Long and short answer to your question, I think it's a bit of both now. It's a strong, we're a strong corporation, but we're also influenced by the fans and the family aspect of it all. And everyone at the club's pulling from the same message of the understand the importance of the club to the town and the importance of the town itself. So
it is. It's what we've needed for quite some time. To be fair, David Anthony's in as well. I know it comes up Facebook user, but that's the advantage of having to watch yourself on a phone just to see what comments are coming up through Facebook when you've got a group instead of an actual page. But yeah, it's just mindless idiots, mate. You know, the minority in a fan base. But the only problem is when it's the minority in Burnley, apparently everyone starts to hate Burnley again, because apparently we're all the same. We're all tarnished with the same brush. Luke as well says Burnley's a community club. That's always been the case. Whatever is improved in the community will only help the football club to become stronger. Thank you everyone for your comments. I saw all the good mornings as well. So good morning to yourself, since we are still in the morning. And you know, yeah, you said it there. A lot of our fans still live on the in 1987 we nearly went out the Football League. Exactly. The amount of people who cling on to that Orient game is ridiculous. We could talk about that all day and night. So let's talk about some of the matters that obviously came up at the last meeting. First off, obviously, we will start with the new branding. If you've not seen the new branding yet, as you can see there, the badge has had a little bit of a change. And if you, like I said, if you haven't seen it, where have you been hiding? Obviously, we have adapted from the multicolored badge that we've had, and I know there's been quite a change over the logos. A lot of people would have liked the old crest that we had in 08-09 when we won promotion, that had a bit of a nod to the town's crest. You know, I can understand the reason behind this rebrand, and I will give my points for that with what Rob Porteous from the meeting actually said. But what were your thoughts about the rebranding? Because and get people in the chat, get involved. What you think to the new logo? Would you rather have the multicolored one? Is there a different one you'd rather go back to? Like I said, Nev, what's your thought process on the new logo?
Don't mind it. I personally don't even like the current crest or the old crest. I think it's a crest within a shield. I've got some design experience and a decent knowledge of graphic design and how stuff affects people's views. And I think our current one's a bit of a, it's a bit of a mess on a design point of view. So from that side of it, I'm not a fan. But it's across the socials, we've had a flat change to the academy women's team. It's all sort of pulling in the same direction now.
Yeah. So
it's just, I think the comms that I've seen as well from, I can't remember his name, he's marketing director at the club. I can't remember his name, but he's said something along the lines. It's just, like I say, a streamlining of the brand Burnley Football Club, because we are being viewed internationally now. We're bigger than the town now, as it were. So yeah, it's just.
Is that Matt? Is it Matt?
I think they think it's Will, Matt. Yeah, I feel apologies for not remembering his name, but I saw it was on the back of the Clarets Trust. I think I read it through there. The Clarets Trust out that they put out. But I think it's just, like I say, it's just a streamlining of the brand. It makes it stand out a little bit less. I think the blue and yellow crest were just weird. The prominent colours on that badge are blue and yellow. I always thought we were the Clarets. So,
to be fair, mate, you've summed it up. You've summed it up perfect. That's exactly what Rob Porteous said. The reason behind it is because we are known as the Clarets. Mm-hmm. The only claret thing about it is the claret and blue bit that the stalk is stood on, and the arrowed staircase sort of thing going up and down over the top of the lion. Other than that, there is no claret whatsoever apart from our actual coloured shirt. And don't get me wrong, the colours have always been sort of a staple in our logo, but to be known as the Clarets, you'd think, similar to, I know I haven't got the logo here, but, Aston Villa have had a recent rebrand, haven't they? And they've gone back to that old circular logo, but it's quite simplistic. It's almost like it's bold but effective. Yeah. And sometimes you don't have to have too much for it to stick out.
I think we must add as well that this isn't a new badge in terms of kits either.
Oh, no.
The home kit's still going to have that horrible blue and yellow mismatch thing on it. From what I believe anyway, from what I've read and been told, it's still going to have that. And obviously last season we had on the away in the third kit a sort of monochrome, like one colour inverted, crest. So I think it's just purely an online cleanup exercise that they want to just standardise the branding across every outlet and affiliate that we have, whether it's women's academies, club shop. It's just, they're just trying to standardise it. Like I say, we've got this big message now that we're Burnley and we're back and we're in international, and I think they just want to clean up that brand. And I don't see a problem with it. I don't see how they change it at the minute from a new badge anyway. If they were to do a full actual rebrand, I think that's a whole different podcast for another day. What they do. And I'll just give a shout out to my friend Matt Brunton is called, who's a designer. He's done a good video on Premier League badges 2 seasons ago when we were in the Premier League, and he breaks down our badge very, very well and talks about all the elements in there, what you could do to change it. So I'll tweet that on, and then I'll tag you guys. You can. It's a bit of a nerd thing.
No, I've spoken to Matt before.
It's really good. Yeah,
my old logo. Somebody said they'd make it for me. And they robbed his edit of a Burnley logo and give it me and put my logos around it. So obviously I spoke to him and I thought I don't want a legal case in my hands, so I managed to get it changed.
Matt's really good. He's a top world-class designer.
He's quality.
Really knowledgeable about the crest and what actual elements mean of it, and he has a good talk about how he'd rebrand it and style it and stuff like that. But as far as the change online, it's just an online thing. Don't mind it. Don't offend me. That again, nothing really upsets me too much. I never get too worked up about it.
To be fair, we have been told that will be the badge on the shirt. So
that's not changing.
And like Neil said it there. Neil said it there. Our away and third shirt had this sort of badge last season.
Yeah.
You know, the third shirt with a pink and black.
Yeah.
The away shirt had the full claret on the blue. So it's not like I said. Yeah, he's right. It's not a new badge. It's just an adaptation of what we've already got.
It's just this common goal that they're having. Let's say, like I said before about the whole family run and then big corporation thinking. That's what it is. It's a big corporation thinking. Right, we need to standardize our branding. We need to streamline it. We need to make it easy to replicate on, you know, print stuff, online stuff, video stuff. You know, the white on claret is better than claret on the blue on claret. From my point of view, I can't read blue on claret. You know, white on claret's a bit better, but it's just from a readability point of view and standardization and distribution point of view, I think. So, yeah, not a problem with it. What badge would you go back to if you could pick one?
Ooh. If I could pick any logo to go back to, I'd be torn between. I like the one that Vincent's been wearing on his cap.
Yeah.
Or it'd have to be sort of the BFC written in the diagonal way because it's just simple. But that were another point that, you know, Rob Porteous put out, and he said about the, you know, as you can see there underneath the badge, it says Burnley FC. We're trying to promote Burnley FC. Nobody knows us as Burnley Football Club. If people talk about us, it's Burnley FC. You know, nobody goes Burnley Football Club. If you shorten the name as well, you know, it helps people recognize the club. Like I say, we're always going to be recognized as just Burnley, not Burnley FC, Burnley Football Club. So to promote that sort of smaller name tag as well, that's another probably quick win for the club in terms of branding. Like I said, there is ideas for a new website that, you know, I think it was put out on social media that people could sign up to, you know, trial it and go through it and stuff like that.
I've not seen that. Where was that? I'll sign up for that. I like doing all that UX sort of stuff. And
no, it were. I'm not entirely sure. It is in testing mode. It's not it will happen. It's not it won't happen.
Yeah.
But you know, a new website is not. You know, I think it needs a bit of a refresh. We've had a similar outlook. I mean, sometimes it doesn't even work via the phone app when you try to load up the news articles. So it does need sprucing up quite a bit. I think we'll try. We'll get to the points that the people want. I mean, just the last few comments. Luke says there, Brentford changed their badge to one with a B on because they nicknamed the Bees.
I'll lose my mind if we go down and put on. It's just another club with a circle badge. I hate this trend of circle badges. It's just so lazy and.
No, it's some. If we are going to do something, we need to do something exciting. I mean, something like that represents the football club, the town, the community. I'm not saying that it has to be some big giant thing.
I think the way they got to go down it is via like they don't want to go down the history too much because our crest is actually steeped in like upper class patriarchy and like it's quite, you know, there's a real like if you do some research on it, like it's linked to some big families in the town and all that and stuff. And I think we want to get away from that.
We're not even sort of like ridding of that. We're not saying sod the history, let's push it away.
No.
It's almost you know, if you see that badge, you can, you know, reciprocate that to replicate. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but sort of, you know, you can take it back to the fact that we had that badge when we won this or did that. And that's, you know, I think that's another thing that we're doing similar to when we got promoted in 08 or 09 and we did have this and it was a shoddy version that looked like it had been sewn on by your nana on the shirt.
It weren't the best.
But it was, you know, it's that changing of the times. And I think that's something that we as a fan base have been scared of. Someone put it in a comment earlier, and I'm not going to fire back through to try and find it. but someone did mention about the fact that we're not a small club anymore.
No.
You know, we are trying to, the vision of these people behind the scenes is to promote, is to get this club to do what Villa have done this year with Emery, you know, achieve European football, try and, you know, drive that forward, and hopefully we can get that. Fingers crossed. Good morning to Doug as well. Hope you're well. He says, sorry to hear the abuse you got down. No one should wake up to any abuse. No, the only time I usually wake up to abuse is if Kate comes in the room and goes, we've got kids, you know, get out of bed, you lazy dosser. But then, yet again, I asked her to be my fiance, so she's got every right to probably do that. Other people just on Twitter is a different thing. Luke says sometimes a refresh of everything helps a football club. This is the thing. People weren't batting an eyelid when we got relegated, lost 16 players, signed 13 or whatever, the other way around, and then had this success train. Everybody was trying to jump on it. Everybody's trying to jump on that, you know, and that's been a massive, massive turnaround. So now that there's other things being changed, why has everyone now started going, oh, no, this is too much. This is a little bit too much.
Yeah.
For me, I don't get it.
Yeah, you're not going to.
I don't get it.
You're not going to appease everybody. And let's say you're going to get people in the fan base, any fan bases that are scared of change or reluctant to change or.
Kate says we should be so big that when we go to Turkey, we find a fake Burnley shirt like all the bigger teams. Yes. Yes. You don't need to. In fact, you don't even have to go to Turkey. Naif's already got a fake Burnley jacket that says Burnley on it, so don't worry about it.
Burnley Football Club.
Good old football.
I don't know if DH gets special that jacket. I'm sure of it.
Right then, this one is controversial. Well, first of many. The new front of shirt sponsor, W88. A lot of people, obviously, a little bit frustrated at the fact that we have gone from having the success of last year's kit with classic football shirts, kids, adults, people alike, all being able to wear the shirt of their heroes. And we all echo that sentiment. To go and take a step back, people need to look at this as a step back to go 2 steps forward. That's how I would say people need to look at this in terms of from a business aspect. As a fan, you're going to go, oh, we've gone backwards, we've done this, we've done that. It's going to come to a point where gambling sponsors stop in 25-26 season anyway. So for now, if you can make the most money out of a sponsor that's willing to give you whatever price tag they have got, and it's better than any other option, until that day comes where you can no longer have them, you're going to snap their hand off. And like I said to Nath off camera, if you were given the option of, right, this, you know, said amount is going to be the difference between the running costs of your club this year, a player's salary, or it's the 500k difference between say getting that player in, you're going to take it. Like I say, we all know Alan Pace's stance on gambling, you know, with his religious beliefs and things like that as well. So it must have pained him as a human being to even accept this. But you've got to have a difference between your own set of standards and what you do for the progression of a business. I mean, your thoughts on this shirt sponsor, because like I say, this is another one that has divided quite a lot of opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I initially started out as pretty indifferent. Like I didn't really care either or. I understand it's a sort of a topic that I don't want to go down, but I understand the issues that gambling has with people, and I get it, and I understand it, and I sympathise with those that people have issues with stuff like that. It can be a very addictive thing, especially if you're on a losing streak. But I understand the gambling side of it. So that's where I'm at with that. I don't want to go down that route because there's better people that are more eloquent and more knowledgeable and understand the industry better than me and the effects that has on people. So I don't want to say anything that makes me look stupid. So from my point of view, the only sort of negatives I'm seeing from this W88 sponsorship is it's a non-existent company in England. It doesn't exist. It's a white label brand. That's from my research and knowledge. And I'll plug another podcast, I'm sure you won't mind, and it's called the Be All In podcast. Group of older lads like Chris Bourne, Andrew Greaves, a few others, and they had a journalist on called Filippo Clay, and he's done some deep investigation work on W88 because they've been around for a few years now. As far as a betting company in England, they don't actually exist. They're not a thing. It's not a thing in this company. It is just a logo. That's the company. It sits in the Isle of Man or one of them sort of British Channel Islands offshore things, and that's who's sponsoring the club. They have a budget every year, and they just offer that budget and just below every other sponsor that every club like us. You look at the people who sponsored. It was Wolves when they first got promoted back into the might not have been the first, but they were newly back in the Premier League. Fulham when they first came back in. Aston Villa when they first came back in. And yeah, us, we'll go back in. We're just that's what they pick at. So they just go in and say, "What's your highest sponsor that you've been offered?" And we say 6 million, and they go, "Tell you what, we'll give you 8 million, whatever the number is." And the club obviously then go, "Not a problem. I'll snatch your hand off." My concern is we don't actually know who we actually getting in bed with for this W88. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to get done by. I don't want to get solicitors knocking on my door. But from what I can understand, is these betting companies that. The W88 in particular is actually they're on pretty dodgy websites in countries where gambling is banned. So they're involved with countries in Malaysia and Indonesia and all that stuff, and gambling's outlawed there. That's my concern. Is as a club, we are sort of selling our soul, not to the devil, it's a bit extreme, but we're sort of just taking the money and running. Basically, if you asked anybody at the club, I don't think they could tell you actually who they are being sponsored by. I think they've just done some due diligence online and gone, "Oh yeah, registered on Company's House. They've got cash flow coming in, they've got cash flow coming out. It's all legit business. W88, this company that just has a turnover of X amount of money and outgoings, whatever. They're going to sponsor us. They're going to give us 9 million. Brilliant. Everything's fine." That's pretty much it. I don't know if you had this. The W8 followed me on Twitter. They followed my hand on Twitter, and they had about 4 followers. So they've only just created this channel, and they've been in this country advertising on football shirts quite a while. Their website has got next to no views on it a month, or every month. There's nothing on it. So it's just a little bit. I'm conflicted. Conflicted. I understand the effect of gambling has on people, and I understand why we took it because, like you said, the 25-26 season front of shirt sponsorships is going to be outlawed in the Premier League. I don't actually think that's going to come in personally. I think it'll get scrapped. I think a lot of clubs will say to the Premier League, "Hold on a minute, you're crippling us here," because the betting companies will probably dangle more money at the clubs and say, "This is what you could have had. This is what you could have had. You could have had 12, 15 million instead of 6 million, but you've been back. You banned us now." So anyway, that's again a whole different podcast. But we're not gonna see the end of gambling sponsors. It's going to be on the sleeves. It's going to be on the back of the shirt. It'll probably make its way out of the shorts in the Premier League. You're going to see it on advertisement boards. You're going to see it behind the gaffer's head at post match. It ain't going anywhere. So yeah, we're just gonna have to get on with it. They've took the money, and I think Alan Pace has sort of said we're taking the money. He's put all his morals aside, and we're taking the money. I think they've accepted that, which is fair and honest. I think fair and honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you can come out and say if it whether it goes against you or not, when you've got to think of it from a business, as being at at that point where you own and run a football club, you have got very, very, very tough decisions to make. Like I say, none of us are sat here on this board being yes men, yes women, yes people. We are just being us, and trust me, when this got told to us, everyone in the room looked at each other. Heads turned. This was a topic that was very, very, very heavily discussed, as the next one will be as well. But like I say, this isn't. I don't just look at it as a financial thing as well. I think it's yes, probably the main reason for this is the financial aspect.
Yeah.
But from what's been said is they're not just here to be on the front of the shirt. They're going to be doing a lot of work with Burnley and the community, with the food banks and stuff like that. So it's almost going to be not promoting gambling, but they're also going to be promoting themselves in a good light.
Yeah.
We spoke about things like that they need to do. The club put out these videos, pre-match about if you see anything discriminatory, race, sex, religion, etc., report it to said number. I think there were 2 or 3 members that all mentioned what we should do is put a video out saying, like they do with Sky Bet and stuff. When the fun stops, stop, and promote that as well. Because as much as you are still promoting the gambling sponsor, you're not telling people to go and stick a tenner on this. No. You're not doing a Ray Winston and saying, "Oh, look, check this next bet out, get your money on that." It's just a logo. Yeah. It's just a logo at the end of the day. I understand, obviously, for legal reasons, under 18s can't wear it. I get that. We don't know what the sponsor for the kids' kit. What we were told was that we will appreciate the vision, which, I don't know. For me, I thought, are we going to work with a charity? Are we going to go down that side of things, which would be good? And I'm not saying that that's Burnley's cover up for taking a gambling sponsor. It's obviously just the fact that right now, like Ian says it there, we've got to do and be seen to be doing what's best for the club. So,
my only concern is we're getting into bed with someone that you can't actually buy anything from in this country, other than put a few quid on some virtual slots on their website. You know what I mean? That's as far as it goes. I'm on the standpoint of I don't want any religious views in. So if he was to come out and say, I'm not putting gambling sponsors because I'm a Mormon, I'd probably be more pissed off. For swearing. I know, probably more no, because I'm pretty, I'm anti-religion. I don't get it. It's not needed in this planet, I don't think. But again, that's another podcast for another day. I'd have been more annoyed at Alan if he'd have said, I'm a Mormon, you're not having gambling because I don't believe it. And I'm like, well, hold on a minute. That's that's a different argument. So again, the only concern I have is just there's a line to be had of what sponsors we assign ourselves to. It's like a moral compass, and does this drift over the line? Does it feel right? That's what I'm trying to get down at. So basically, I'm trying to get to. Does it feel right? If I'm honest, no, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. If it were Bet365 or William Hill or Paddy Power, something that I can go on now, I can download on my app and I can stick a fiver on Burnley to win league in this country, I'd probably feel not as bothered. I think it's more of a feeling again, and this doesn't feel right. That's my personal opinion. It doesn't feel okay. Like I say, I don't have a standpoint on gambling. I have a flutter myself. It doesn't bother me. I'm in control of it, and stuff like this doesn't affect me. I know that it affects people. It does affect people. And as long as WAA aren't pushing, have a cheeky bet on this, have a free fiver, have a tenner on this, and we don't see it all around all around the stadium, and they are responsible with it, then I'll be okay with it to an extent. But from a general point of view, I think it doesn't feel right. And I think we have to be, it's like we've talked about at the beginning, we're a community asset, we're a very tight-knit town club. We have to, and obviously we're not going to get the money from Bob's Butchers, are we, or bloody Market Store. We're not going to get that sort of money, and no company, I don't think, in Burnley, well, there might be, you never know, but you're not going to get a company in Burnley that's going to splash 9-10 million quid just to sit on a front of shirt. It ain't going to happen.
No, Zeg.
Them Cook Oil days, them Oat Furniture Land days, the Hollands Pies days, they're gone. They're gone completely. So he's done what Alan and his team have done what's right by the club.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the be all and end all.
Yeah, they have to stand
like
firm
you
by
said,
the
if
decision.
it had been for the religion,
Yeah.
then it would have pissed you off, like I said. But the fact that they've gone, nah,
Yeah.
club first,
Yeah.
you respect that more as a supporter.
And I think they have to accept the challenge, the kickback. You know, they've made
Oh,
this
yeah.
decision, and it's only fair that they get some kickback. And I would like to hear from the club, and I would like to understand who they think they're getting into bed with. That's the genuine. You know, I was pretty indifferent before all this, and I've listened to a chat with the journalists on the BLM podcast from Philippe Auclair, who's done some amazing work finding out who actually these people are. And they're actually not very nice people in the countries where they're actually doing their betting. That's, again, a different line to go down. And that, you know, they link with some people anyway. I would like the club to come out and actually openly try and explain to us who they're actually with. Because all I can see online, like I say, it's an online fruity on their website that puts our badge at the top of the thing, and then all that'll happen next year is they'll get rid of our name and put another team's name in, and this is the cycle of who this is. It's the club have taken the King's coin or whatever the phrase is, or whatever, one of Simon Jordan's phrases. They've taken the King's money, and they're gonna have to die. They're gonna have to die by that, and hope that they know that. You can't just pull the wool over some fans' eyes. I think that's, again, what I'm trying to say without being... You can't expect us all to go, oh, brilliant, more money. Sound. You've got to, question some stuff. You've got to, it's my club at the end of the day. Like I brought up, I don't want us to be associated with some sides. And I think this strays over the moral line for me. It just strays over. Not because of I'm against gambling, more of who we're getting in bed with. I think it just strays over that moral line, and it just doesn't feel right. That's what I said. It's a feel. It doesn't feel right to me. Same with the BK8 stuff as well. That doesn't feel right to me. Clubs have pulled sponsorships with them before for pretty crappy marketing, pretty sexist marketing and stuff, and yet we're plastering it all over our training kit, which again is another bit of merch that kids can't have. When they see J-Rod wearing the training kit, they're going to go, I want to wear that one, and they can't. They have to wear a blank one. So anyway, I think the whole relationship the Premier League are doing stuff about it. I think the whole relationship between, I don't think it's a problem with gambling and clubs. I think it's offshore gambling. That's my I think that's my beat. I think I'm trying to
that's the anger issue is with offshore gambling.
Yeah,
not
I think I've just sort of
like you said. You said there, if you were dealing with a William Hill and a Bet365, you can understand it. But when you're dealing with someone that you're like, who, what, the fun 8 days and stuff like that. It was
I can go out now and find a homeless person and give them a pasty and take a picture with them and go, I'm amazing. We can all do that. I said, they're going to strive to do that in the community. We can all do that. That's called PR. It's pretty basic stuff. They're going to do that. They'd be stupid not to, because they have to convince the fan base that they're a real company, even when they're not. Sort of thing, on paper they are, but they don't do anything. So anyway, I would like to see some clarification from the club of who they think they're getting in bed with. That's what I would say anyway.
No, you're not the first person to say it. You're not the first person to say it. I think two or three members at the on the board said it as well. Like I said, this was a very heavy topic that everyone were firing questions to the point. I think even Alan Pace sat back in his chair and went, "Ooh," like the guy who was getting this video, telling us all this information. Sorry. It was almost like, this guy's getting a bit like when you're at pub and your missus rings you saying, you said you'd be home at 8:30. Yeah, I know, but someone's getting a counting. But yeah, it's healthy discussion, and I'm glad that obviously, I'm speaking to you as a general fan, general supporter, and getting your real thoughts for it. Because if the club happens to come across this, they can see that yourself, people in the chat, and things like that, and their comments.
Yeah.
It'll also help them with an input as to what to do.
Yeah.
The following year, the year after that, etc.
Yeah.
And it can only be good.
Yeah.
For the club to see that. It's not like we're going out there going, what you've done is wrong. All we want is tell us. Tell us why you made this decision.
I just feel like it was an odd move, because we've made all these moves and inroads into America. So I just initially thought, oh, we're going to get an American company.
Dunkin' Donuts right across from.
Yeah, no, nothing like ridiculous like Apple or Bank of America. But I just assumed we'd get some sort of like financial consultant firm from New York that just no one's ever heard of. Because obviously they've got a banking background, don't they? All the guys
Yeah.
running the club. I just assumed we'd have that. I thought that's pretty obvious. That's an easy win for me. And I thought, what's the difference between 5 million and 9 million in the Premier League? I don't really see a lot because, I'm not a massive football finance expert, but you don't just rock up to another club's thing with a bag of cash and go, there's your 10 million quid for Nathan Tell or whatever. It's spread over years, in accounting work where you spread your wages across like another
thing is that I want to counteract what you've just said though. So if you was the one with, like you said there, the 5 million and 9 million in the Premier League, in that context, it's nothing. But if you've got that 5 or 9 million in your bank balance compared to what somebody else has got, you would rather have the 9 than the 5. You know what I mean? So it's
completely,
that's what I mean. Like, I can understand where Alan Pace has got to look at it from that aspect because it's him who's having to open his wallet, open the checkbook, write the prices on. We as fans can sit here and go, oh, that extra 200k, it's nothing. But
I just, like I said, just assumed it would probably be an American.
It is strange as a fan.
Yeah, I just assumed it'd have been an American firm, and it seems odd that they wouldn't, like, instead of taking the bigger chunk, you
utilize that market.
Chunk, you take you take a step back and you go, right, I tell you what, we'll just because we're going to get 100 odd million quid from the Premier League. Like, if we get into another market that are going to buy our shirts, that are going to potentially buy our subscriptions to Claret's Play, going to buy our merch, going to buy flights over, they're going to buy hospitality. If you're from America, surely that's better than just sitting on a shirt that's promoting a gambling firm in Indonesia that aren't actually, they're not going to support Burnley, are they? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to mop up fans in Malaysia and Indonesia. They're not, but they don't want that. They want United, they want City, they want Liverpool, they want, it's mopped up over there. Like, I think, sport in America, football in America is on the up at the minute. We've got one of the best. Yeah. We have got genuinely one of the greatest NFL players ever to grace the game. He's up there. He's in the Hall of Fame. Like, he's one of the best. Yeah. And he's banging our drum on every fucking video. He's got a Burnley hat on. He's got training gear on. Like, why the hell?
Every American that says about I want to follow a soccer team, welcome to Burnley. My name's JJ Watt, and you're now a Clarets fan, and he's literally on it.
From a business point of view, I understand why they took more money. Purely just numbers, I understand it. If W88 rang me up tomorrow and said, Nathan, look, we're going to give you 200 grand. You've got to put our logos on your podcast. I'd probably have to take it because it's either 200 grand or nothing. I'd have to take it. I'd have to spit out everything I've just said and go, I'm a massive hypocrite, but I'm 200 grand richer. Here we go. That's the way it's going to go. So I understand that side of it. But I just thought from a marketing point of view, from a longevity and pushing where the club want to go, and clearly where Alan and the investment team want to go, which is obviously North America, that's where they want to push the club. It makes sense. That's what they're doing. It was an easy tap in for me. It was worth taking less money. That's me talking like there was even an offer from North America on the table, but you're not telling me that Alan's contacts or the investment team's contacts don't have somebody high up somewhere that goes, yeah, I'll do you $5 million. I'll do you $6 million deal for your front of shirt, for 4 years or whatever. Like, it just felt like an easy win that from that point of view. And they get just again, I answer my own question. I'm okay with having a gambling sponsor. It doesn't feel right with this gambling sponsor. You know what I mean?
I think as well, if we'd have gone from a gambling sponsor to a gambling sponsor, you could sort of just, it's fine. We've moved on, whatever. Yeah. But the fact that the humongous success of last season,
I know.
To now, like I say, it almost feels like I think I can't remember who said it in the board meeting, but they said something along the lines of, it does feel like a step back. But we sometimes have to take these step backs. Like I say, okay. Like you said then, if they offered you money and to brand their logo like that, gone. That's it. That logo's all over the shop. But
W88, if you're listening.
And if you've got one in Saudis, give me the Saudi representative needs to come from Saudi.
I know. Well, like the classic football shirts last year, it was just a melting pot of perfection. Like even the classic football shirts, they probably absolutely spuzzed their marketing budget on us. That was probably, in fact, they probably went over it. They probably went into their business survey. I don't know the ins and outs. They've made a good do of it. They're flying them. It's a different beast in the Premier League. You know, if you look at the numbers in the Championship, we're probably mid to low end of the sponsorship.
In the EFL, you know, the Sky Bet Championship, you know, the Championship.
Exactly.
We're not Coca-Cola anymore. It's not N-Power. You know, we're not. You know, it's Sky Bet again. It's gambling sponsorship, and that, again, like you said, it's probably not going to be rid of from football for a long time.
Yeah, it was always going to be a kick in the teeth losing classic football shirts because like I say, it was a perfect melting pot of last season. We had a nice sponsor that looked okay on the shirt. They were a good brand, local, 2 lads from Manchester. You know, it were a nice little run business. The business matches what our industry, football shirts. They then designed one of the best kits I've ever seen us make, to be honest. And now we've got the best season that I've seen us play attached to that shirt forever now. That shirt will always be Vincent Kompany's title-winning HMS Pistol League shirt.
Definitely,
So from a market point, it all just fell perfectly. But no matter how much money they could have found out back at Sofa or sold asset, they would never have been able to match any sponsor in the Premier League. So it was always going to come to an end that way, which is a shame. But again, I kind of like that it was just a one-off thing. It'll always be remembered, that partnership, classic football.
And it's not just that as well. Obviously, the fact of what they did. You know, having that one-off kit with the old sponsor of Ensley on, there was so many perks to it. That they actually got the brand, they got the club, they got the fan base. Everything was just a match made in heaven. Fingers crossed, WA8 get that. We shall see. Time will tell. But from one talking point to another point, loyalty points. Oh, mate, honestly, it's not a problem. I'd rather have someone give me a full-blown review on what they think as a fan than just go, it'll look all right. I mean, like I say, this is another huge talking point. This is the one. This is the we've come to the abuse section, ladies and gentlemen. Loyalty points. England have a very similar setup with their FA ticketing system with the 5-year rolling plan. Obviously, it's now common knowledge out there that we are adapting that same sort of mantra. God, I couldn't have said that same mantra. But we've, I mean, for it, against it, you got, a foot in either camp. What's your thoughts on the loyalty point system that's been adapted?
Yeah, I'm for it. It's a modern way of doing it. A lot of clubs do it like this. A lot of clubs even have stricter guidelines. Like my mate's a Leeds fan. God bless him. Someone has to be. And their away ticketing is a nightmare. You have to pay to be in a ballot, and then you've paid to be in a ballot, and you might not even get tickets. It's just so for someone like him that lives in Burnley that goes to as many home games as he can, he has no chance of ever seeing Leeds play away unless a scalper gets hold of some and sells it for twice as much, 3 times as much. So
he's probably best anyway, especially after last season.
I know he hates it. So for me, from my personal point of view, this change actually shafts me. It actually makes my chance of getting away tickets less because
not same.
I've been fortunate enough to have been going since I was like 2 years old with my grandparents, and then I went right up until 18. I had a bit of a break for 2 years when I went away to study in America, and then I came back, did 2 more seasons, and then I actually started working for the club. So I didn't actually need a season ticket because I was working for the football club. And then after leaving the club, I left and didn't go back for a few more years. And it's only been the last 2 or 3 years that I've actually bought season tickets again and tried to go to away games where I can. So this change actually will chop off probably, I'd say 4,000 points off my account, which puts me at about 3,000 now. No, it put me about 4,000. I had over 8,000. So for me now, that puts me quite low down in the pecking order. So I should be angry. I should be one of the old guard that are like, but the kids getting tickets now, and but the youth make the atmosphere. You know, obviously there's exceptions to every argument. You're going to get some younger people that just want to go watch the game. You're going to get some older people that want to stand on chairs and, you know, light a flare. You know, you're going to get them. You're going to get anomalies in each age group, but we need to get younger people interested in falling in love with the football club again. That's how I did.
Yeah.
I was just dragged on from the age of 2, and I didn't fall in love with it until about 13 properly. You know, where I really fell in love with
totally
it.
agree.
You know, you just go on the motion. You see the same faces, but then I fell in love with it at like 12, 13. I was like, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. We need to keep that going. You can't just keep giving the tickets to those that have been on the planet the longest. It's not fair. You know, it's not right. You know, someone who's 70 is going to have more loyalty points than someone that's 19 because they've been on the planet, you know, 50 years longer. Like it's pretty obvious, isn't it? You know,
it's one of them that like you said there, this 70, 80-year-olds, and I'm not discriminating age or anything here, but you know, these people that sometimes they'll even be an home game, they've got a season ticket and it's raining.
Yeah.
So they go, I don't really fancy it. I'm not sitting out in cold. My age, I'm not. I'm not about that.
My grandparents do that. My granddad can't really get about as much, so now they sit in the corner stand. And if it drops below 15 degrees, he's like, nope, not going. Can't be bothered. You know, like that's, you know. And they went home and away every season. They didn't miss a single game for about 25, 30 years. And then as they got older, they just sort of, you know, they would have had first pick at every ticket. That's the way they would have done it. And they would have probably bought one because they didn't like the fear of missing out, but they would still might not have chose to go because the weather might.
Yeah, you're fine.
It doesn't make.
I mean, the point I put to Alan Pace was, you know, when he came in here and he came to Burnley, he was like, oh, this is amazing. You've got a big Tesco. And I went, why don't we utilise that system? Why don't we utilise what Tesco have got? Like a club card thing. I said, we've got the team card situation. If people don't or can't get to away games, or they've now got a certain point with their points before the points get deducted. Yeah. Tell them they can transfer them points to team card points and can be used in the club shop, a bit like a club card aspect. So that way, you're still rewarding fans. And if anything, they've got like a certain period where they can use them. That way, the club then still make money because they want to spend them before they lose them. Yeah. And it'll just be a rejuvenating, you know, financial process. Yeah. So there were a few people went, that's not bad an idea. We'll potentially look into that. You know, that this is the sort of thing that the board are doing. We're having these brainwaves. Like I said, we aren't sitting there. This loyalty point system, people are asking because a lot of people were just saying about, well, away games this, away games that. Yeah. You know, I mean, I know the loyalty point system, as I say, for me and you, you know, we're going to get duped for it because circumstances change. Yeah. You know, you used to go on with a loved one. Like I say, I used to have a season ticket with my dad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he's no longer here. The first few games I went back to Turf Moor after that. I didn't want to be there. It didn't feel right. Some people just would stop altogether. Yeah, you know, people's circumstances change. People have been in accidents, weather, moved away, got into relationships, got married, money's taken up. You know, that's another thing that we're in that sort of. This is all the things that we've put to them and said, right, well, have you thought about that option, that option, that option? We've not just gone, loyalty points, brilliant. Yes, thank you for the change. This is it might affect me, but oh well, you're thinking about the next level fan. It's not people need to get it out their head that it's not just about let's give a kid a seat. Yeah. It's not about giving a kid a seat. It is about the next wave of supporter. Yeah. But it's also tailored to the the phenomenal support that we have had. Yeah. And if you've been there home and away for the last 5 years, stop whinging. You're still getting tickets.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand. And like I say, this is in conjunction with the membership schemes as well. Like I've seen a lot of people. Well, I live in London. I live in France. I live in Normandy. I live here, there, and everywhere. Like, get a membership scheme. They've put this in place now, so you You can't. So they've done this, so you can't get to every game. Like, that's fine. I can't get to every game because of my job. Sometimes I have to work Saturdays, or I have to work late Tuesdays, or whatever. I still buy a season ticket because I know I need them points every year. I lose out on 50% of the games every season, definitely. So I don't let it go to waste. I give it to my mate or give it to a family member. Like, it's never an empty seat on my seat, but I don't get to go. But I'm loyal to that season ticket, and I'll buy one every year I can. And when my lad's a bit older, he'll be coming with me. So we'll always do that. We'll be loyal, and I'll get rewarded for my loyalty that I can get to. So if it only means I can do one season ticket and 5 away games, I'll get rewarded for my loyalty in them 5 years. If you do home and away every game, fair play to you. I used to do that when I would, when I could. Best thing you could do, but I can't do that anymore. So it is what it is. You can't get handouts for nothing. The people that are mourning are the people that it actually doesn't affect. That's what I can't understand. Like, a lot of these people are moaning, go, I'm going to lose however many points. And like, yeah, but they're going to bring the threshold down. They're not going to make the threshold 10,000 points because you can actually only amass about 3,000 over one season now, over a 5-season period. So you can only amass about that much. So they're not going to then make 8,000 points the threshold. It doesn't change anything. They're just changing the rules. Like, it doesn't change your access. It's just changing the rules, and it's not a bigger deal as what people think.
No, and it's same with the memberships.
Yeah,
the memberships is different as well.
That knocked a few people up because obviously it put people at the front of the queue, but they're making a percentage of tickets available, and we actually don't sell out all our away allocations all the time. There is usually
and I think as soon as there's so many games as well this year, so many games this year that we'll end up losing. I'm not saying that we're going to go on a same season. No. The law of average says that we probably will be mid-table to bottom half, scratching relegation. But if we punch above that, like we have done in previous years, then so be it. But that success train of last year is still rumbling on at the moment. Like I say, if we beat City on the opening day, everyone's going to be jumping on. I need to get to Luton. Everyone wants to get to Luton anyway.
Yeah, but there's like 40 seats in Luton away end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This membership scheme, the difference, I think people are looking at the price aspect of it more than anything else as well, because of the only difference really between the £35 and the 250 is what? The hospitality side of things?
Yeah.
More than anything else? So, I'll be honest as well, the memberships are capped. So it's not like everybody in the world is going to spend 35 quid and they get priority over you. No. It gets to a certain point where, say, 40 people apply for the £35 option. Right, we stop it. That's it. No one else is getting that membership. And only 5%. You've got to think 5%, and you've got an attendance at Luton of, 1,000, if that. But then Old Trafford the week after, 5% of that or something is humongous.
And then people that have the membership schemes, they're aimed at people that can't get to every game. So they're not going to be buying every away game because they can't get to every game. You know what I mean? No. Like, it's for people in London. It's for people that travel around for work. They don't have a sort of home base that they sit, So it's for them, for the London lot. There's a good following down the London of Burnley fans. They're going to get the London tickets.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work with the supporters. Like clubs, I don't know, because obviously over the years they've sort of sold tickets on the coaches.
Well, they're a different case.
So whether they get, I don't know. That's a question that really I don't know. I may bring up at the next meeting. To be fair, that do they still get a certain allocation? And he'll say elephant for some reason. Allocation. For supporters, or do they now have to go through this membership, etc.? Where, to be fair, it probably should be like that, because booking a coach, you shouldn't be able to book a coach and a ticket at the same time and go, right, well, I've beat everybody because I'm a member of the Aki supporters. I'm not slating anyone who does that, by the way. I'm not slating anyone who does that. I
think ticket allocation should be done from one central point. It should be from the club. You should get the tickets that you are entitled to get. You know what I mean? If you've been to every home game, home and away for the past 30 years, I think you should be at the front of the queue. Whether that means you're 10-year-old, 20-year-old, 90-year-old, you should be in that first group because you support my club as hard as you can. You know what I mean? You deserve to have that chance to get to front. People that know somebody that runs a supporters club or knows somebody at the club shouldn't get priority over somebody that only can go 5 away games a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's similar with the Blackburn situation. There was all sorts of people like using mates loyalty ticket, points and things, and and then I saw people that were like, "Hold on a minute, you've been to like 1 game all season, and yet you're at Rovers." Like I didn't deserve to go to Rovers. I applied. I didn't deserve to go because I've not been to as many away games as I could have done. I've only been to about 3, but I didn't deserve to go. But so I think you just
look at the draw. We're about it. It's the look of the draw.
Yeah, that was look at the draw.
People, that's the thing is, people still whinge about it just because they didn't get it. I mean, I had 2 mates that went to the majority of away games last year. They didn't get it. Neither of them got it.
We had like
it's just one of them things.
Yeah, we had mates that went to every game with their dad, and then they'd get a ticket, and the dad wouldn't. Yeah. So I think the problem with it is the communication of it. The membership scheme again was done, snide, backhanded. It just fell online somewhere, or it was tweeted and bang, 6 more tweets.
It wasn't really
got shuffled down. I think they needed to make a video explaining it. I think they needed I'm not asking for Alan Pace to stand like Carol, but they need someone from the club who's a bit more like a presenter or someone that stands in front of us. This is the membership scheme. It's this, that, and the other, and bang, lays it out in a term that the way that I can understand it, and I'm an idiot. Like I want to, and the same with the loyalty points. It should have been a sit down. It's not a sit down, but it should have just been a short, snappy 2-minute video. Someone walking round turf going, "Oh, loyalty points. What the hell are they? What are we doing? What are we changing? Does it affect you? No, it doesn't. Bang, end of video." It's the communication that they're struggling with now. I think they're good at it. Same with they did this with the W88 thing. They tweeted it, they put it all out there, and then bang, it were 10, 12, 8, 13 tweets after that. Pushed it right down. Put it on the website. Bang. We're talking about Luton, Chelsea. They push stuff down out of the order. Like the communication, it's a bit iffy at the moment. And I think if they get that right, we won't be having these debates. I think that's
there was 1 or 2 people that said that the communication, the way it was put out to fans, wasn't the best. The club did acknowledge that. I can say that the club did acknowledge that the communication side of it was lacking in that aspect, and they said that they did get that wrong.
It's easy wins. Like I don't think they make enough video content as they should. Like I understand it's difficult, and you've got to get the right people and know what they're doing. Like they are good with the transfer videos, but that seems to be all they're good at. Like anyone can film an interview. Like, I can do that. I can put a camera up an headshot and interview someone for 5 minutes, or take a few montage clips of training footage. Like people don't want to sit and read pages and pages of information. Like I know you should if you want to know, but it's easier to put that, that FAQ on the loyalty points, that was easier to put in a 2-minute video. No, it was easier for someone to absorb the information on a 2-minute video on social media than it would be for someone to sit and read. Because I had people tweeting me going, "Oh, what's this about?" And every time I was like, "Just read it and you'll know." But they don't want to read it. It's an easy win. If you want people to understand your message, you've got to get your message out there. And snidely releasing it via a link through an email that not half the fans only got. Like I know people that been going along with me, they're like, "I've not had an email," or they've not, whatever. So if they get that right, I think they'll be flying. And it's an easy win. They need to do more stuff like video content like this, like have a presenter in front of the camera. A lot of clubs will do it, why seat changes? What's this about? Does it affect you? Does it do this? Does it do that? It's an easy win. And like I say, if they're listening, and like I say, they mention it to you, then that's a good thing. And I hope it does start changing, because I think that's what leads to the frustration. It's the confusion it causes, and the mystique of it all. They just sort of like any stuff that's contentious, sort of get it out there, and then they shuffle it down pecking order so it goes away as quick as possible.
Like I said, they did acknowledge what had been put out. Everybody's points were pretty much the communication of it, the understanding of it wasn't there. No. And they did eventually put out that, something to say that, no, this is how it should be. But like you said, maybe having it in a video format, or trying to drag people towards that video.
Yeah. How it looks from a messaging point of view, it looks like the club don't understand it themselves. If they're not willing to communicate it, obviously they understand it. They've made the rules, but well, I mean, that don't work because Tories make the rules, governments make the rules. They understand it, do they? But they've made these changes, and then they're communicating in a way that's very vague, very underhand, very not snide, but I don't want to sound too against them, but it makes them look like they don't understand the message. They're not providing clarity. They're not providing ways for fans to get a quick grasp and understanding of it. So why would fans understand it if it looks like the club doesn't even understand it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I'm following.
Yeah, but that's for them to sort out, I guess. That's
it is. It was always going to be a controversial talking point. Like I say, the loyalty points thing. No matter what you do, there will always be one person that's against it, and then their following follows. So there's always ways and means.
Free shirts. They could give out free shirts every season ticket, and they'd go, "Oh, well, how are you making any bloody money then if you're giving shirts away?" Like there'll always be someone that has to just stick. Everyone's got an arsehole. Most of them stink. It's just sometimes you got to keep it to yourself.
Exactly. A big one then. Obviously, at the moment, it seems we're linked with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and that will obviously bring us nicely on to transfers. As we all know, we have shored up Jordan Bayer's loan move. Michael Obafemi one is done, I think. Well, it should be. I think on promotion, it was pretty much that he joins us, but that's another thing. Again, goes back to what you said about communication. Nothing's really been said about whether Obafemi is a Burnley player or not. The other two that we do know, the newcomers there, Dara O'Shea from West Bromwich Albion has joined us, and so has Lawrence Figaro has joined us from Leyton Orient. And it's looking like the other two on the end with question marks could soon be wearing the famous claret and blue. Soleimani Koulibaly sounded like a tongue twister or a Wi-Fi password, but I do love it. Looks like he will be joining us on loan from what's being read with a mandatory fee of around 15 million euros. So whether we're relegated, he's going to be our Championship centre-back, or he's going to be still a Premier League player. James Trafford, another one. I was shocked to see the price tag. I thought they'd missed the dot out between the 1 and 9 when I saw 19 million, especially for Burnley Football Club. But we are not paying them in fudge, Freddos and Curly Whirlies anymore. It seems we are actually opening the checkbook. This is a player that has got a lot of talent. England under-21 international, spent last season on loan at Bolton Wanderers, helped them gain promotion. And it looks like he's potentially joining the club with 15 million up front, I think, or 14 million up front with 5 added on. And I think City have a 20% sell-on clause and also a buyback option in there as well, which they had the buyback option in with Muric. So that's another question. I'll ask you that question first, because what happens with Muric? We're going to have Muric, Vigoro, Peacock Farrell, Frankie, Charlie Casper, is now signed professional terms, and obviously James Trafford. I mean, surely there's got to be some outgoings as well.
There has to be. There's going to be some big earners on that. And they just keep us alone. There's got to be some big earners, but I always remember back to that game. I think it was in February where he dragged Muric at half time. And I do wonder if he was just probably our number one by default, because Peacock Farrell wasn't our number one. I don't think he is at the level that we need for number one. Is that relationship skew with? I don't know. Has Muric had some offers to go elsewhere, and that he's weighing up his options, so company's not messing about and just saying, I don't believe a word of that Muric had COVID or
No.
injured or whatever. He got dragged because he had the worst game he's ever had. He was terrible. He weren't injured. It were a load of crap. I don't buy it whatsoever. Because he was back the week after. So if he had COVID, he'd be missing for 2 games. So anyway. Yeah, there has to be outgoings. I think we're going to send the 2 of the young lads out on loan. I think Casper will probably go on loan. And what's the French lad called?
Dennis Franke.
That's the one, yeah. I think he'll go out on loan. But the companies from a City background, like they stockpile keepers for fun. Like they'd have a big bank of keepers that are all somewhat equal ability. Like that's what they do. They all this says to me that his company wants to build a squad that can compete just on multiple fronts. So he's going to have a first team keeper that plays Premier League games, and he's going to have a Carabao Cup keeper and a FA Cup keeper. Yeah. That's the way it's good. So you've effectively you've got a number 1 and then a number 1.5, haven't you? You know, it's not a number 2. It's like a number 1.5, isn't it? So, and I think I don't think it's a bad thing. The more you're only as good as sort of your weakest team member, aren't you? As they say, that's like the cliche. So if you've got a keeper school that has got 4 stupidly talented keepers all fighting for number 1 jersey, it's going to raise standards. You know, you're going to know that at any point anyone could replace your shirt. You could take your shirt off you. So standards are going to go. You know, it's just going to completely raise levels. But I'm excited about the Trafford deal. I think if that graphic, we'll start backwards. Apart from Bayer and Obafemi, they're done. Aren't they? They got done pretty much straight away. Like I said, they didn't announce it. I think it was pretty common knowledge that if we got promoted, Obafemi was signing anyway. But Trafford, I'm excited for. I think £40 million for a pretty highly rated 20-year-old keeper that's English is going to turn out to be good money. Because if he has half a decent season next season, then you're going to double that, aren't you? Really?
Oh, big time!
You know, you're going to get. You're going to double that, maybe even triple it. We sold Nick Pope at the end of his contract for £10 million, like, and he was at the back end of his. Not back end of quid, but he's cracking 30. Like this, Trafford's only 20. So the fact that he's chose us is quite impressive, I think, because he could have he probably could have gone back to City and said, no, put me out on loan again, put me at higher level Championship, let's have a go. But we've chosen him. Company will know him. He'll have seen him come through the ranks.
Yeah.
He'll know him. He's got that City mentality of playing with his feet. He gets it. I don't see the problem. I think a lot of people are kicking off that he's saying, but he's not just a chump that's
it's the price tag on players now, isn't it? I think the price tag is what.
It's a good rate. It is.
I mean, look at Leicester. They spent what 10 million on Akinbaye before, and it didn't work out. Yeah. So, but that 10 million back then was like 100 million in today's market.
Well, the new £1 million signing is now 10 million quid, isn't it? That's like
big time.
That's the way it is. That's just the way it's gone.
Ian Moore just started walking with a drop shoulder now. Like, worth 10 million, mate.
So you got to think though, Trafford will probably have lower wages than what we think anyway. I think he wouldn't expect a king's ransom. I think he'll be quite reasonable with his wages. So I don't see why, if we can get him and it's only going to cost us 20% in a sell-on fee. And if he has a good season and Edison comes to his contract, City are probably going to go, we'll just buy him back off you. And that buyback fee will probably be 25 million. We might miss out on a 30 million fee, but it's an easy transfer. It's done, in it. It's 25 mil right back in. I think it's just a good bit of business all around. He's England under 21. He's having an amazing tournament as well, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
He's having an incredible tournament. So, I think positive. Happy with that signing.
Well, I mean, obviously we've there's, like we said, there's links left, right, and centre. I think the one that came about this morning was THB's been linked back to us again, but he's linked with quite a few clubs. I mean, yes, it's another defender in, but if we're getting Koulibaly on loan, do we need THB? Bayer's been great. Ekdal's done pretty well. Amin Al-Dakil's coming into his own a little bit. Yes, it's okay now because you've got to have 9 substitutes, so having numbers in, but you can still only name a 25-man squad at the end of the day. We don't want to be a
think-
team full of 3
Yeah.
keepers and 6 defenders on the bench.
No, which I don't think it will be. I think he'll always name 2 keepers, won't he? He'll always name your starting keeper and your backup keeper, won't he? I think that's. But to me, it just sounds like he's going to change his first 11 formation for a bigger percentage of games. I think we're going to probably look to a 3, which is why I think we'll not see probably any footage from any preseason game. We'll only see pictures. Yeah. I'm convinced we won't see. Only people that will see the formation or the lineup, possible lineups, is the people that go to Genk or whatever's left is announced. I think a lot of them behind closed doors, aren't they? I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are all training ground ones. Obviously, the Fleetwood one that we recently did. But yeah, the Genk one, I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm hoping they'll be able to do some sort of like live feed of it, so fans can get a match pass or something, and
maybe
do it that way.
Yeah, the THB one, I don't really see. I've seen a few reports, but it's quite loose. I think. I don't think it's going to come back to us. I think with Koulibaly getting done, I think THB. I don't think we're going to get him back. The only way we get him back, I think, is another loan. But.
And if we need a defender, we need to look to the left side, don't we? I mean,
yeah,
that's where we're looking a little bit bleak. I mean, you're only allowed 2 Premier League loans, aren't you? Matson's meant to be training with us or something.
Yeah, I saw that he's back training with us, so maybe there's a loan deal back there, but I don't see why. Yeah, has he
got 1 year left in his Chelsea contract as well?
I think so. Like yeah. So again, I wouldn't understand why Chelsea let him go out on loan for a year and then just let him walk away for free. I don't see that. I think if we're getting him, I think we're going to buy him. This new lad, he's left-footed as well. Koulibaly, he's a left-footed defender. From what I've read, a few reports in Germany said he isn't ready for the Bundesliga, but you never know. He might just need a fresh, perspective, a new, and if you're going to learn how to be a centre half off anybody, I don't think there's many better names to learn how to be a centre half off, is there? So, we've seen how quickly you can bed players in and you can get players feeling comfortable and playing from the back. So it's exciting though. Like it's nice to see us linked with so many players and actually spend some bloody cash for a change instead of buying Dale Stevens on last day of season or last day of window. And,
everyone's watching a game and then at half time, all of a sudden you've got Dale Stevens sat there filling paperwork out in an announcement video. I mean, speaking of players going out though, Wout, what's your thoughts on Wout? Because yes, he's linked with going to Galatasaray, Besiktas want him again, yada, 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 going abroad. It goes back to what you just said then about Maatsen. Why would we loan a player out that's then going to be out of contract in the summer instead of trying to make some money that we could have made if he'd have stayed at Besiktas all season and signed permanently?
I don't.
It's a strange one. Yeah. Would you welcome him back?
I don't know. I know a lot of people.
If he scores the winner against Manchester City, are you welcoming him back?
Well, that's the argument I'm toying with. Is like it's different circumstances when we last had him. It's just the manner of how he left. I just still think he was just an arsehole. Like I just think I understand that you wanted to play. Just say that then. Just come out and say, oh look, Claret's like, thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for making me feel part of it. Look, I've got World Cup aspirations. I need to go and play in the Premier League. A lot of fans would go, hey, bloody honest, isn't it? Fair enough. All the best, mate. You tried your best. Not a bother. See you next year. Or like see you in a few years down the road or whatever. It's the man who just like, I'm not playing at Championship. I'm better than that. And it's like, hold on a minute. Like, you're only as good as the fucking team you're playing in. So if you get relegated, I'm sorry, you're with us. You fight. We don't get to pick and choose what team we support because you got relegated. I don't then go and support West Ham because they're at Premier League because you got relegated. I don't know if he comes back and, like, say, he plays well, probably all is forgiven. And, like, say, it's different circumstances, different coach. My concern is what damage did he do in the dressing room? There's obviously a rift there. Obviously, most of that squad's now left. There was obviously something there because Connor Roberts wouldn't have done what Connor Roberts did at that Wales-Holland game. He obviously left a stink in that dressing room. It's all good saying, oh, yeah, well, welcome back. He might slot in company. It's whether company see, will company listen to Roberts and Cork and go, what was he like then? And they go, he was a bit of a rat, All he did was just kept undermining Gaffer, or I'm not saying this is what he did, but all he did was kept chirping about this,
Mm.
undermining Gaffer. Is company going to block that in when you've got young, not vulnerable, influence, like impressionable players in that dressing room? Is he going to want someone like that in? Don't know. Personally, I don't want to see him in a Burnley shirt again. I think he's a bit of a prat. He plays like he's done this for United. Every time he didn't get the ball, like he thinks it's all about him. Like
do you not think he'd be decent in that Goodmanson role behind the striker or something?
No, I don't. I think he would. I think he's got no first touch. His positional awareness is pretty weak. He's one of the tallest players I've ever seen, minus Peter Crouch, but he can't head a ball. And then when we did try to play it to his feet or chest, it bounced off him. You're watching Fernandes. He's wide up. Like Fernandes, if United running with the ball, he's got Val ready to. He's backing off defend. He's ready for a little one-touch bounce pass back to Fernandes. He won't play that pass because he knows he won't receive it back. Whether it's because Val will take it and run with it himself, or he's got a touch like a fucking house brick. I don't see the qualities he has as a footballer. He has magic moments that he pops up with now and then. We all can do that. You know what I mean? I can belt one into the top corner from 25 yards. I can, break the lines and fucking score an overhead kick. Like it happens now and then. You know what I mean? Moments of magic happen. I don't think he's got the quality for what the football we need now. I don't think he fits. Haaland at City, like he's a different kind of player and he's like a freak.
Oh, he's just adaptable.
Players like Val aren't that type of player. They are a big lad, that he can't, but he's a big lad that can't run with the ball. He can't finish. Well, he can finish to an extent, but the conditions need to be perfect. I don't know, but I'm still bitter about how he left, and I just thought, you just jump ship as soon as it.
It's from a fan level, isn't it? I mean, at club level, it's a case of it's another player to come in and see what he's like in a new system. From a fan perspective, it's like, you set the bridge on fire, mate. It's crumbled. You can't just start trying to build it piece by piece.
Look, I'm sure my opinions on it will change if he comes and he's fucking top scorer by November. You know what I mean? If he's Premier League top goal scorer in November and he's had it just fits, then fair enough. We'll let bygones be bygones. But at this stage, I would probably just say keep the dressing room's very harmonious at the minute. It seems they're all pulling in the same direction. There doesn't seem to be a bad egg. They're all enjoying life. They all come back. They're coming in with a smile on their faces. Like. It feels nice. Something feels nice. And I think he might wreck that, I think, because there's obviously beef there from the whole Connor Roberts thing. There's obviously beef. And then the stories I've heard of him, he set up his own private WhatsApp group with just the lads in talking about why we're playing this formation and why we're doing this and why we're doing that. And I just think you don't need people like that. You need you all to be pulling in the same direction. And he's had his chance at United. He's had his chance to be this big time Charlie player that he thinks he is. You've now got, you got one of the most heaviest shirts in the world of Man United on your back that you adamantly was saying that you were that good at, and he just flopped. It was a flop, absolute flop. He missed some big chances, and players didn't want to pass to him. You saw it was so obvious, obvious. It was just ridiculous. So anyway, enough. I've a anti-Wout fan club. So
keeping it with attacking players, though, mate.
Yeah.
One player that it disarmed me to see him back wearing a Southampton training kit. I'm hoping he will be back in a Burnley training kit ever so soon. Carl asked it there. Do you think we will sign Teller? I mean, if we can spend 19 million, structured deal, I get, but still, if we spend 90 million on a young up and coming keeper, 15 million for Nathan Teller, who was by far a standout loanee last season, is peanuts.
Yeah, you got to look at the deal, the difficulty of deals that need to be done. Like Trafford's an easy one to do because City don't need him. They don't have to find a replacement for Trafford.
Club and
It's
club's fine as well, isn't it? It's the middlemen, your agents, the
So
fees left, right, and centre.
You'll have Teller and Teller's agent going. He wants to go back to Burnley. His best mates joined Burnley and Obafemi. He's up there. He had a good time. He wants to come back there in the Premier League. He thinks he's a Premier League footballer, even though he's hardly played a game in the Premier League, which is fine. You got to think of the other side. Like Southampton have to probably get their ducks in order to get their replacement in. So until they start making some signings, I don't think we'll see Taylor over the line just yet. I think it'll probably drag out for. God, I sound like Alex Crook then, didn't I? I think it will be one that runs quite close to the end of the window. I actually think Taylor will probably start the season for Southampton. But I don't know whether that comment. I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know if it's that easy.
To be fair, they did say, Burnley, if you cough up 15 million, is your player.
If that's 100% accurate, then why haven't we just gone? There's 15 million quid. Like W8 have paid for over half of that. Like go get him. The fans want him. He wants it. Go get him. It's an easy win. It's a good way. So if that's what has been said, then yeah, let's do it. But I'm a bit dubious on that rumor. I don't think that Southampton are that easy to go. Yeah, give us 15 million quid. We'll send him up there. I think they understand the value. We've made Teller not monster, but we've made him the player that he is now. Now, if he'd have come to us and absolutely bombed it, we'd have got him for 4 million quid off Southampton.
Oh yeah.
But because he finished out, he had an amazing season and we all fell in love with him. Southampton know. Well, you want him, so stump up cash for him then.
Yeah, the thing is with Southampton as well. They've got it, even though they've been relegated, the power is still in their hands. He's still their player.
He's still contracted for another 4 years.
It's same with James Ward-Prowse. And they could do what we did. Except they could also go down the route of losing 2 players. We sign Teller. They sell James Ward-Prowse for 50 million or whatever, 40 odd million, and then. It's like, they could use that money big time for reinvestment.
Well, they've got a massive job on their hands, Southampton. So,
they need a rebuilding job.
Selling players isn't their priority. Like, they've got money in the bank. They don't have we had to sell 40 million quid's worth of players to fund the transfers. Southampton don't have to do that. They just have to make sure they stay within their FFP rules and appease whatever they need.
And they're going to get a load of money for like you say, Lavia. Who's linked to Chelsea and everyone.
Selling players isn't their priority, so they aren't going to very primitively, like Alan Pacey's texting Southampton every day going, "Can we have Teller?" And they're just going, "Oh, let's put 4 hours. I'll deal with that later." It's not a priority for them. It's not a deal that is on the top. It's a deal that probably is top of our list. It's not a deal that's on there, so that will probably drag on and drag on and drag on. Because what Southampton will be doing is waiting to see who we sign. If the longer it gets to the end of the window, we haven't signed a player in that similar position to his quality, they're going to be going, well, you now need him more than ever, don't you? So that's 2 extra million quid. And they're not stupid,
No.
It's all, it's give and take. It's not as easy as just like say, oh, I've posted you that check, send him up. It's not, it's all games and it's all mind games in it. And
of course it is.
And stuff like that. So it'll happen when it happens. I think he'll be a Burnley player. I still think he'll be a Burnley player. I'd be very surprised.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Carl says, any centre midfielders coming in? We need a few. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Cullen and Brownell did really well. Obviously, we've still got Goodmanson in there. Still got Cork knocking about as well. I think Cork will probably be utilised more from a bench perspective maybe next year. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'd like to have seen someone, I don't know, a bit like a Kieran Dewsbury-Hall from Leicester or someone like that come in.
Yeah, I'd still think we could do with one Premier League player. I think we could do with someone that's got that. I think we are missing someone in that that role in midfield because let's say it's all good saying this. We don't know what formation he wants to play. We don't know what he wants to play. 3 at the back, 2 at the back, 2 in midfield, 3 in midfield, 3 up top. We don't know what he wants to do. So it's all good us saying, we need more midfield. He might only want to play 1 centre midfielder. So, I'm not saying he will, but we don't know what he wants to do yet until we know that. Which again, I think, which is why some transfers aren't happening yet, because I still think companies figuring out what his plan is. Not figuring it out, but he'll know his plan. But I think he's just trying to implement it with what he currently has to identify what spots we need to get filled in. You know, if he might be happy with Cullen, Cork, and Brownhill going into Prem, you know, he might be happy with that. If he is, fair enough. He's not done anything to waver my judgment of his decisions just yet. You know what I mean? Until that changes,
definitely not.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing, Ben. Keep doing what you're doing. Nath, really appreciate it. Coming on and obviously giving up just shy of 2 hours of your time. Tell people where they can check you out and stuff, because I forgot to ask people to do that at the beginning, but you do some amazing stuff, mate, with Burnley Mondial. And tell people where they can go and show the support and love.
Yeah, pretty similar to Dan's, really. Just we're on Facebook. Don't really use Facebook and Instagram as much. Try to post there, but our main two are main three are Twitter, which is at Burnley Mondial, and YouTube, which is just Burnley Mondial. If you search for us, it'll pop up. And if you listen to your audio only podcasts, search for us on whatever you use to get your podcasts, and you'll find us there. And we've got a great interview with ex-Claret Sam Vokes out. So if you've not seen that, go check that out. That's a little plug. I really enjoyed that. It was good fun. I thought Sam was brilliant on that. To be fair, it's gone down really well. But
you're nervous, aren't you? You're nervous in the build-up to it.
At the beginning,
As soon as the answers come flowing, you're like, what were I worrying about?
Yeah, it was annoying because I started the chat with him, and also we had this bit before we press record, and I know Sam quite well and whatnot, and it was totally comfortable. And as soon as I hit record, I just chat me kecks and was like, "Oh, you used to be a Burnley player, didn't you?" you could really hear it in the first two questions. But then when he sort of opened up and just he was waffling, and just you could tell he has a fond memory of Burnley, and then that just made it a lot easier and stuff. But that was good. I enjoyed that. So yeah,
we're a great interview, mate.
Twitter. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's gone down well. It's got more views on it now.
No, definitely. People, please do go check out Burnley Mondial podcast. I will put the links in the description of the video once I have wrapped this up. So please do go show your support, because as much as Sam Vokes was there doing his biz, we're here doing this to talk to you guys, give you the content. We all regurgitate and shit in the same pot, basically. But we do it with our own opinion, our own ways and means, and like I say, hope that clears things up as well regarding the loyalty points, the branding. As I said, if you want to comment afterwards, but this video will be available for you to watch via Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at your own leisure. And if you liked what you've seen from a YouTube perspective, then please do drop us a like. Hulk, smash the like button. Subscribe to our channel if you are new. And you can also get notified when we next go live by clicking that naughty little bell. So please show your support. Other than that, thank you very much to everyone for watching. As I said, I hope it gives you a better judgment of what was going on. Graham's comment there sums it up. Vokes' interview was a gem. It was. Mate. Sam Vokes was lucky to be interviewed by you, mate. That's what it was.
Yeah. So if any ex-players from that 15-16 season that are listening, get in touch. Scotty Arthur,
definitely.
That will be listening. But if you are, get in touch. We'll do it all again.
Definitely. Go check out Burnley Mondial. Check us out. We'll be back with more content very, very soon. Obviously, the Women's World Cup is starting in less than 20 days now. We'll be covering the England fixtures. They're at early morning ones as well. With being in Australia and New Zealand, so should be fun. But until then, stay safe, take care, and remember, up the bloody clarets.